So everyone thinks .NET is dead, but here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. While you're chasing the latest JavaScript framework of the week, .NET quietly became the most powerful, productive, and versatile development platform on the planet. For over 2 decades, I've watched developers dismiss .NET as too enterprise or too Microsoft while missing out on building better software faster. Why are startups still running from technology that could solve some of their biggest problems? And why do seasoned developers who actually use .NET consistently outship teams who using the cooler tech stacks like Next.js and stuff? So the answer might surprise you, and it definitely will surprise that .NET Core went open source and it absolutely changed everything. So let's dive into some of this today. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer, and here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, so I've been using .NET since it was in beta back in 2002, and it's not because I haven't tried other systems. I've written in PHP, I've written in JavaScript, I've written in Next.js, I've written in Rust, I've written in all of them. And I keep coming back to .NET Core. But when .NET Core went open source and got completely rewritten in the mid-2010s, my perfect worlds totally combined because I love building on Linux. So today I'm going to break down exactly why .NET isn't just surviving, but it is thriving, and why every developer should pay attention to what Microsoft has built. Now, I know part of this has just come because people love to hate on Microsoft, and I get it. Hating on Microsoft is a really fun pastime. I've been watching people do it for the last 20 years, and I've definitely had my moments. But I started with .NET when it was still in beta back in 2002. I was at ASU going to college, and some guy came and started talking about this C# thing, and I didn't really know what it meant. C# right? And I didn't get it, right? But even then I could see the potential that was hiding, and so very early on I saw that it was a very C++ like syntax. I was learning Java because that's what everybody at universities learned at that point, but the original .NET framework promised write once then run anywhere capabilities that Java had been trying to deliver, but with better tooling and better language design. Visual Studio was already miles ahead of any other IDE, making development feel smooth and intuitive rather than fighting with your tools constantly. I remember the old crusty Linux developers telling me, man, the only reason you'd write in .NET is be able to use Visual Studio because it's the best one out there. So the CLR, or Common Language Runtime, means that you could mix languages in the same project. Now, I've never really been a big fan of that. Why would you need to? C#'s always been superior. But back then, most developers were still dealing with memory management nightmares in C++ or the Wild West of early web development. So those beta days taught me that some boring enterprise choice could become the foundation that outlasts all the flash alternatives. Now, at the time, I was writing some classic ASP for the electric company that I was working at. And as soon as .NET and C# hit production, in 1.0, I started shipping products on it for internal tools and began being productive right away. So C# and .NET has prioritized developer productivity in ways that other platforms still struggle to match, especially when you need to ship features quickly. The language strikes the perfect balance between expressiveness and safety. You can write elegant code that actually works reliably in production. IntelliSense and the robust tooling ecosystems means that you can spend more time solving business problems and less time debugging syntactical errors because you missed that semicolon for PHP, right? The TraceBit team specifically chooses C# because they want an expressive, fully featured language which would let us quickly test and refine ideas. Static typing catches bugs at compile time rather than letting them explode in production when customers are trying to use your app. So when you're building a startup and every day counts, productivity gains from a mature ecosystem that's been around for 2 decades, it really helps compound over time. Now, when Microsoft open sourced .NET and made it .NET Core and made it MIT licensed, it wasn't just a licensing change, it was a complete philosophical shift. Suddenly you could develop on MacBooks and deploy to Linux containers without any Microsoft lock-in or licensing fees. And that's the funny thing, I still hear from people today, well, won't that only run on Windows? Man, that changed in like 2014, folks. The cross-platform support isn't an afterthought. It's built right into the core architecture and works seamlessly across operating systems. Microsoft's chiseled container images give you lean deployment options that minimize security vulnerabilities and resource usage. The entire .NET ecosystem became community-driven rather than corporate-controlled, attracting developers who had previously avoided Microsoft technologies. So my perfect worlds combined when productivity I loved from .NET met open source principles and could all run on Linux. It's so fast on Linux, guys. That's everything that I run right now is .NET plus Linux. I love using Nginx to proxy, .NET to run underneath the covers. It is so quick. And every speed test out there that you run shows that .NET's going to kick the snot out of almost every other language out there. Now, the biggest misconception holding back .NET adoption is that it's too enterprise or that only suitable for big corporate applications. Modern .NET runs on everything from high-performance APIs to containerized microservices to real-time applications. It even runs really well on embedded stuff. Startups avoid .NET because younger developers learned JavaScript or Python, not because .NET is actually less capable for startup use cases. I've helped many startups write on .NET, and they've always loved it because you can grow so much and it scales. The .NET ecosystem scales better than Next.js. Every single .NET versus Next.js shows .NET will run faster every time. So many of the startup-friendly technologies require just as much configuration and infrastructure complexity as .NET, but with much less mature tooling. The irony is that .NET's stability and productivity could actually help startups move faster and avoid the technical debt that kills so many young companies. Now, if your company needs help getting your systems connected, check us out because we love to help companies produce custom software to work to maximum efficiency. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer. Now, .NET consistently ranks among the top performers in web framework benchmarks, often outpacing Node.js, Python, Next.js, Ruby, and any of the other web technologies. The runtime optimizations and garbage collection improvements means your applications scale better under load without requiring constant performance tuning. And if you don't believe me, go check out some of the metrics. I have plenty of videos even on this channel, but you can take my word for it right here, or you can go look at it. Memory management is handled intelligently by the runtime, so you can avoid both the overhead of manual management and the unpredictability of primitive garbage collection. Performance gains translate directly to lower infrastructure costs and better user experience, both critical for growing businesses. I hear people say all the time, you have to have an expensive server. Man, go to DigitalOcean, get a $6 server, bam, you're running .NET with a full system here for $6 a month. And you can even find cheaper ways too. You can run serverless. There's tons of ways to do this. NuGet package management provides a vast library and one of the largest library ecosystems with packages that are actually maintained and enterprise ready. The .NET community has built robust solutions for every common problem: authentication, database access, caching, message queues, all without having to reinvent the wheel. Third-party tools and libraries follow consistent patterns and conventions, making it easier to integrate new components without architectural rewrites. So unlike some other platforms where every project feels like assembling a different set of barely compatible pieces, .NET provides coherent building blocks. Now, container support and cloud-native features are first-class citizens in modern .NET, not awkward additions bolted onto older platforms. Azure integration is obviously excellent, but .NET also runs beautifully on AWS, Google Cloud. I use DigitalOcean, like whatever you want. It runs awesome. I even like to write .NET that runs on my Raspberry Pis, guys. Like, it's super fast. The self-contained deployment options mean you can ship your application without worrying about runtime dependencies. Docker support includes optimized base images and multi-staged builds that result in smaller, more secure containers. The deployment tooling integrates seamlessly with CI/CD pipelines, making automated deployments reliable rather than a source of constant firefighting. So while startups might not think they need enterprise integration capabilities, most successful companies eventually need to connect with larger business systems. So .NET Enterprise integration story is absolutely unmatched. They work with every single system out there. The Windows ecosystem integration means you can connect to other things, but you don't have to. But it's a great, easy way to connect to Linux, Mac, other systems into Windows systems. So having enterprise-grade capabilities available doesn't mean you have to use them immediately, but they're there when you need them. Now, if you want to talk about the developer experience, like I talked about in the early days, Visual Studio and VS Code are the staples for development environments, right? And so the debugging experience is absolutely exceptional. You can step through code, inspect variables, and understand exactly what's happening in your application. Hot reload and other modern development features mean you can see changes immediately without lengthy build, deploy, test cycles. .NET is the best debugging language out there. Prove me wrong. The language server protocol and tooling ecosystems provide consistent experience across different editors. Package management, dependency resolution. Guys, I can keep going on here, but and people are saying, well, it's too much to set up the framework. Man, with .NET minimal stuff, you can get a minimal web API in 20 lines of code. If you don't believe me, check out all the free coding samples that I provide. I have over 500 free coding samples here on this channel. Go check out the playlist on this channel. You'll see hundreds of free coding samples. C# continues to evolve with features like pattern matching, nullable reference types, and many other things, so the language isn't sitting on its haunches. C# is hands down the best and most flexible language. Features like LINQ provides powerful data manipulation capabilities that would require external libraries or verbose code in other language. But after 25 years of using different programming languages, I appreciate how C# has evolved without losing the clarity and readability that's made it great. And the .NET community is amazing. It's one of the largest communities, and it's backed by Microsoft. They've made a major investment into developer education and into building one of the best languages and platforms out there. So, .NET represents the best of both worlds, the innovation and openness of modern development platforms with the stability and maturity of enterprise-grade technologies. The platform evolves thoughtfully rather than chasing every new trend, which means your investment in learning and infrastructure remains valuable over time. .NET 6, even though they're coming out with .NET 10 here soon, .NET 6 still runs great and is still LTS. Building applications in .NET feels productive and enjoyable rather than constantly fighting with tools. And if you don't know where to start, like I said, I've got 500 free code samples because we love to train software developers. So when your application needs to scale, perform well, integrate with other systems, or meet enterprise requirements, that definition should pretty much cover every application out there, .NET provides clear solutions. And I know this sounds like a sales pitch. I'm not getting paid by Microsoft or anything, guys. I've just been using .NET for over 2 decades now. Most importantly, .NET helps you ship reliable software that works correctly for users, which is ultimately what separates successful applications from interesting experiments. Now, if your company has systems that aren't connected and you need some help, reach out to us, because here at Startup Hack, our specialty is connecting systems so that your company works to maximum efficiency. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer, and here's some great information about some of our services. Hi, I'm Spencer, a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and 25 years in software development, I've transformed technology teams and products for businesses just like yours. As your fractional CTO, you get the strategic guidance of a seasoned technology executive without the full-time commitment. Perfect for companies ready to leverage cutting-edge technology without expanding headcount. My team at Startup Hack has already built advanced AI agents for small and medium businesses, automating complex workflows and delivering advanced ROI to human workflows. We specialize in creating custom software that connects your systems into a single coherent technology ecosystem. Our development approach focuses on tangible business outcomes. For one client, we developed AI-powered workflows that cut days off of human processes. For another company, by connecting multiple systems, we reduced processing time to increase their ROI by over 75%. We don't just write code, we architect solutions that scale. Whether you need cloud system architecture, data integration between legacy systems, or custom AI agents that automate your unique business processes, my team delivers results that exceed your expectations. Having led technology for a lot of companies and launched 7 successful brands of my own, I bring battle-tested expertise to your business challenges. Our specialty is turning technological complexity into business advantage. So if you're ready to harness the power of AI and custom software to drive your business forward, let's connect. Together, we'll build technology that doesn't just solve today's problems, it positions you for tomorrow's opportunities. Technology leadership, decades of experience, AI powered. Reach out today and we can help you. Check out startuphack.com/Spencer.